All right, guys, what is going on? What is good? What is good, everyone? What do we got on today? 16. All right, 16 viewers. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go, chat. On FAFO Friday. FAFO Friday. Was good, Capitalist, Eric, Jorks, Marshall, Flacco, Yuso, Mason in 2020. What is up? So, man, I can tell you this week has not been my favorite when it comes to price action. I don't know about everybody else. I know some of y'all have taken some really good trades, but indices this week I really have not liked as much. I think Monday and Tuesday were all right, but I don't know, man. Today and yesterday, things were a little janky, in my opinion. A little bit janky, in my opinion. What do you guys think, chat? You think it's fine, or do you think it's been wonderful? For the rest of today, I did post in the Discord a little bit earlier. I did point out 65.89. That is like 100 points away, so we probably won't do that. But I did point that out if we were to remain heavy. So as of right now, it doesn't look like that. We have our opening range gap here. We never traded into it. We traded lower into the lower quadrant of the range. I'll zoom out and show you that. And as of right now, the 12 o'clock macro, which is 1150 to right now, basically, that took us into this imbalance and we're off of it. So now we do have this short-term low right there. This could be a intermediate term low to potentially take us back into this. So it would make sense if we traded back into the range on that. The only other thing that I guess would add to that is NQ. So same story where we have that gap down. We really do not trade above our opening price at all. Right, maybe like one or two ticks into it, but couldn't get past this imbalance. We leave behind a small set of equal highs. There's some 1 minute down candles in here that I was watching on the way lower again, and then just like ES, we've got I guess this one's a little bit more distinctive. So there's that low and then a lower low and then this short-term low, right? This imbalance right here is being respected so far. So, I mean, I wouldn't short, but I don't know. Not my favorite. Not the coolest week, Eric. What's good, H? Yeah, low of day set in a macro. Well, that's not a surprise. That's not a surprise at all. For NQ specifically, I guess I didn't really look at it for ES, but if you zoom out, and we're still in regular trading hours, by the way. Okay, this low from October 22nd, that's what that is, right? So that Wednesday right here, that low is where that level, the 24,805 level, that's where that comes from. Okay. And it has a similar set of lows, just like on ES, where if we were to remain heavy, then we probably will trade down there. But any liquidity from Wednesday, right, that low and below it, that's what I'm referring to right here, right? So we met that old low, traded beyond it, and this imbalance is below it. This imbalance is just above it. So that's why I think it's possible for us to trade back into the range, maybe clean the highs, maybe get back into that. But it's a Friday, right? It just looks weak. Everything here looks weak. And I think trying to long weak markets is not it, you know? So if we zoom out a little bit more too, this is just another testament to the fact that highs, whether they be equal or low resistance highs, they can be left open, right? We never came back for that. I think we will at a certain point, but you have to realize, like, highs can be left open. So these can be left open too. I don't always know, chat. Don't always know. But oh yeah, we got 35. Cool. Is the chat open today? No, it is not. No, it is not. It is now. All right. Chat is open to subs now. Anybody that's subbed can ask or comment or whatever. What's good, Sergio? Someone did get funded today. I forgot who it was. They have a different name on Instagram than they do in their Discord. But yeah, they got funded today, which is cool. Love to see that. What's good, Nikki? What's good, Adam? Yeah, do y'all have any expectations for today? Do you have any bearish bias or bullish bias, or are you staying away? Welcome back, Juan. Welcome back. I'll just take that off here. I'm trying to think. I was watching gold and silver earlier. I'm surprised they mooned the way they did. Right when I decide not to touch it, that's when it moons, bro. You gotta love that. It's all good, Juan. Welcome back. There's some low resistance lows on gold. Look, man. Look. Okay. I can't remember if I talked about this in the market review or not. I think I pointed out these highs in the market review yesterday. I'm pretty sure I did. You'd have to correct me if I'm wrong. But okay, so like I've been saying with gold, bro. You remember I told you when price is between two higher time frame concepts, meaning like we have a higher one up here that it is respecting, we have a lower one which it is respecting. When price is in between those, it's very irritating to trade. And we are seeing the continuation of that, right? Look how much consolidation is in here. We finally do get expansion, sure, and then we right back into the range. And then look how much consolidation is in here, at least on a 15-minute. You know what I mean? Like, this type of environment, I don't like. I don't like. It's difficult to trade. You see what I'm saying? And price is still respecting that upper concept from a long time ago. You see what I mean? So this sucks. But what I will say is, and personally, I thought silver was going to catch up. And silver did not. But you know what? You know what I got wrong on this idea? Is there was no manipulation. You got wrecked multiple times? Oh, it happens. That's why we manage risk. You want to start treating trading like a business. What does that necessarily mean in your opinion? Professional. You know, a business has rules and procedures, right? They have P&L, they have, you know, expenses, and I haven't taken a business class in quite some time, but you know, there's revenue, net revenue, and all this. I took accounting and I failed it a long time ago, so you know, I'm probably not the best person to ask in that regard, but you know, you gotta spend money to make money, right? A business buys product and sells that product at a higher price. So we want to buy low, sell high, or for shorts, sell high and buy low. We want to have losing trades to a minimum, and we want to have our wins, you know, towards a maximum, right? And not every day, but hopefully by the end of the month and by the end of the quarter, we have a positive P&L. So that's what that means to me. You know, businesses have rules. So for trading, that would be like, don't over leverage, you know, don't revenge trade, stuff like that. Follow your model, XYZ, XYZ. So there you go. Jorks, those were daily time frame. I'll come back to silver in just a second. This was there's like other markups on here for on the smaller time frame, but the imbalance from October 27th, that's what that is. That's what that quadrant is there, and we have not pushed past that. And the one down here as well, with that gap included, that's October 6th. So we have stayed within that as well. And that's what I'm referring to. So when price is in between that, it's hard for me to trade it. That's what I'm saying. Which is this. Okay, when price does that, anything in here, it's more difficult. It's more difficult. I mean, because think about it. What is it supposed to reach for? What is it supposed to reach for? And if you don't know, if you don't know what it's likely to reach for, then there's what's high probability there? It wouldn't be. So the next best thing is like levels of liquidity. But it's just the timing aspect of it. We consolidate so much, you know, it'll knock people out before going up there. And that's a rough condition. And that's what I was trying to talk about on silver for just a minute. You know what? I'm glad we're here on the 15. So I did not point this out to you, but I did watch it the last couple days. Even though this is more like a flag here, but nonetheless, it's still a consolidation. So this, to me, was a solid buy model. Consolidation, distribution, redistribution, right? Manipulation, I guess, first accumulation. There's kind of multiple legs in here, but it's safe to say that first leg, accumulation, and then our second is pretty much here. I would say the second actually starts like right there, but whatever. You see what I'm talking about though, right? What's good, Ibrahim? We have a market maker buy model there. So what I got wrong today, and I looked at this and I watched it, I'm like, well, fuck, you know. We have everything here except for manipulation. And that's the thing here. So original consolidation, we left it back into it, leave it again, and then we have a distribution and then redistribution. And on a smaller time frame, we do have a reaccumulation here, or at least the first accumulation here. So what I thought, like once we rallied, like, oh, it's going to go for those highs. But when I zoomed out, I'm like, well, what did it sweep? Did it take anything? And the answer is no. There's nothing like distinctive over here. This one is, right? Because we have an intermediate term low here. That intermediate term low was taken. You see what I'm saying? Like this here was taken, and then for those highs. This low, it doesn't take anything, right? Question mark. It doesn't have anything that it takes that's obvious and clear. So I was looking at that like, oh, well, that may be a reaccumulation to go higher. And it absolutely trades right through that. So that's why following the framework to the T is important. If there's no manipulation, then the low may not be set. And that's a good example of that. On top of the fact, this run, okay, I'm going to just delete everything here. This run around 1030, 1040 on gold, that 1030, 1040 is here. And that does clear London's high. So by the time that retracement came down for silver, right, that was like this retracement here on gold. So what would gold trade into to go higher? And the answer is there's nothing there. You see what I mean? So that's why this stuff can be tricky sometimes. It can be tricky. It might look like it's getting ready to trade to some highs, and then it doesn't. So there's that. What other questions you guys got? What other questions do you guys got? We have been printing some up candles, haven't we? Would you count the manipulation on gold? It kind of took something on the left. Yeah, it took my patience is what it took. I don't know. Let's I mean, I guess. I mean, look, this is hindsight, okay? The move was there, but I guess it took Asia low. I guess. Same thing here. Intermediate term low taken. And then it takes that low too. Before going higher. Oof. Yeah, I don't think it's great, personally. That's why I opened up with that today on stream. I'm like, I don't think today or this week was the cleanest week. I'm not saying there haven't been trades, there haven't been opportunities. There's opportunities every day. But the ones that I like, to see, not so much. What's good, Lazar? But yeah. So that is what I would watch for today, for the rest of today. We have, let's see. 3 o'clock is right there. 2 o'clock is here. So I think it is possible for us to get to the 120s, 150s, maybe something like that. Yeah, I think it looks all right. It looks better than it did a little bit earlier. Now that we've actually printed some candles towards these highs in that gap here. So I would be interested to see where we start at the final hour. I'd be interested in that. What is UT? What is that? University of Texas? I don't really watch sports, my friend. Oh, UTC. Yeah. How do you use a smaller time frame market maker model in a higher time frame market maker model? I've talked about that before, and I really don't look at that all that often, to be fair. But I would say let's go back to ES for a second, because that's where we started off earlier today. Or that's where we started the stream, I think, and I was going to point this out, and I didn't do it yet. In the regular trading hours, okay, and it doesn't look clean, okay? It's not the cleanest, but these lows down here, right, and a very odd consolidation here. We traded at all-time highs, then we have like a first leg lower, or even like here, because we had crossed that 50% level on Thursday yesterday here. So that move lower, we crossed 50%. Then we traded back into a premium in yesterday's PM session. And then today opened lower and then went down to our discount of our lower quadrant, right? So what you would do then is go into the smaller time frames, and if this is a sell model, we don't know. Okay, what's good, Ram? We don't know. Both, Sergio. We don't know. But if it is, if we do end up taking those, it probably won't be today, but if we do end up taking those lows and this is a sell model, then I would go into these smaller time frames and see if there wasn't sell models inside those stages of price delivery. Okay. So the electronic hours here, it's kind of hard to tell. This is a 1 hour, but zoom in on smaller time frames and see if there were. I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah. They're not super clear and obvious, but that's what I would do. Lucas, what do you mean 2 days in a row? What do you mean by that, my friend? It's a beautiful day. It's fixing to get cold in a couple days. It's going to be in the 30s. High 30s here in a couple days. I think NQ should respect the London high, which means I don't expect the market to go higher. If there is buying, it'll be a simple pullback. I'm bearish this week. Well, there's only a couple hours left in the day. There is only a few hours left in the day. You said London's high. Okay. London's high, that's like way up here. I don't see it getting back to London's high. But I will tell you, if I was short, I would be pretty nervous. Because London into pre-market all the way until lunch, this has been bearish. Right? This is traded lower since pretty much London open. So if anybody that's short, right, you got to think about where their stops are. When we had our low of the day, the most recent highs are like that one. That's already been taken, intermediate term low or higher. 915, that's a pretty distinctive high. Our equities open, that is also. Thank you, Magnet Tool, for doing that. You see what I'm saying? Like anybody was short in here, like with that imbalance, stop's going to be at that high, or this one. Oh, shit, if it takes the lower one, it's probably going to take the higher one too. Oh, this is, yes, I'm retarded. See, I'm not perfect, chat. Now you know. But I would say it's going to have a very, very similar story. NQ, London high up there, but same idea. It's been lower and lower and lower all day. At low of day, most recent highs like right there. And then those equal ones are there too. Equal highs there, equities open here. So, again, it may not do this, but to me, the idea ends up becoming like short covering, right? I mean, look at the chart. Look at the chart. What has the last few trading days been? We've been bearish. There's like an update or two in here. But overall, right, look at this week. Monday, look at the power 3 here. Monday open higher close, and then Tuesday shit to bed. Wednesday higher close, okay. Thursday open to go lower. Friday open to go lower. And again, like I said earlier, we've already taken out the October 22nd low. So there's probably going to be some profit taking there. So that's kind of what I mean by some short covering down here. Right? Smart money buys below old lows. They're going to distribute shorts below old lows. If it's going to attack trailing stops, then that's where they're going to be. You know what I mean? Because, man, it's hard to put all this shit on one chart so you can see on the screen here, but there's really no distinctive highs in here that it would reach for. There's no imbalances in here. So if it is going to run higher, it probably should have an easy time doing it. Remember we talked about that? All this week, a lot of this week, we've talked about back to the basics, right? Markets trade from, or two things, liquidity and inefficiency. And one of the ideas that I gave you was when we don't have an inefficiency, it's probably going to go for liquidity. So if we don't have any inefficiencies, then we're probably going to reach for liquidity. So that's kind of the idea here. It is counter trend. Okay, the week has been bearish. The day has been bearish. So it is counter to higher time frame. But what do you want from me? I'm just trying to give you what I think here. Full gap in the tariff news. Yeah, we were so bearish this week, we didn't even go to, yeah, we left a lot of things open, which I like for swing trades, okay? I like when the market does stuff like this and this. Because when they sell off like that, they're going to generate liquidity here. You know what I mean? So in the long term, like these are going to be targets for the upside. All-time highs, these highs, and these highs. You know what I mean? Now, what I will tell you is not to try and pick the bottom. Okay? We've done it. I mean, I did it this year. Traded and called out the low of the year to the day. To the day. But I do not try to pick the low of the day every single day, though. Okay? I'm not trying to do that. I'm not saying, oh yeah, we're gonna long this and then hold for 2 weeks. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying when we leave highs like that behind, it gives me confidence that the market isn't going to crash. That it's just a pullback, that we'll be at all-time highs again pretty soon. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But if we do crash, I mean, hey, if we crash, we crash. But look, I know we've talked about this before, but just look at a daily and a weekly time frame. The market always comes back eventually. Indices specifically. I'm not talking about currencies, but SPY, triple Qs, you know, it's just going to come back. It's just a matter of time. Yeah, I mean, that's true too, Ricky. Aligning the daily and weekly, yes. But so okay, let me clarify. What I mean is, like, when you align the daily and weekly time frame and then go down to the smaller time frames, right? Those are going to be phenomenal trades. But what I'm saying is, don't try to say, all right, we're going to take, you know, whatever trade, right? And then we're going to try and hold it for all-time highs, you know, and aim for this 1 to 25, 1 to 50 type RR. My point is, if you're going to do something like that, don't do that every single day. Because if you tried to do that back here, it didn't work. If you tried to do that yesterday, it didn't work. You know what I mean? And you're going to have a hard time trying to do that. That was kind of the point I'm trying to make. I'm not saying it can't be done. I just said, you know, don't go in there swinging for all-time highs on every long position you take. That was the main point I was trying to put into words, okay? Y'all really don't understand how hard the English language can be. Like, because you can know stuff, you can understand stuff, but you have to realize you have to put stuff into words for other people to hear. And so I may not explain things the best, or I may not get, you know, deliver the message the way that I want to. Okay? $750. Oh, you know what? That is a quarter level too. I'm glad you brought that up. 7, it's off a little bit, but the quarter level right there. $25.50. Yeah, you're talking about these. Yep. I don't know when you hopped on the stream, but I did talk about that near the beginning of our stream today. And like I said a few minutes ago, if there's no imbalances or anything, if there's nothing here that's going to send price lower, then it's probably going to want to run for those. And then beyond that, the extent of equities open, which is up here, and the regular trading hours is here. So yeah, I mean, I could see the highs being taken, but I don't think that's going to be a reversal, and I don't think that's going to be the high. I think it's going to if it does do that, I think it's going to trade into this. Like the 150s, maybe the 200. It's asking for a lot, but that's just, again, that's just what I think. Thank you, Edmundo. Thank you, thank you. But yeah, 15 looks pretty good. We have been rallying this whole time. The last few up candles. So 5 minutes, or excuse me, the 5 minute doesn't have any imbalances or anything. We have one on the 15 here, but we've already traded to the higher end of that, so I wouldn't short this. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't short that. So I think once we get through that, we should have the green light to go higher. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. So what else you guys got, man? Because I really don't have anything else for you. I don't have anything else for you. What I need to do is I'm going to go get my beard trimmed, and then I'm going to shoot, I think it's episode 9 of Corvette Conversations. Either episode 9 or 10. So, do you guys enjoy the Corvette Conversation series that I've done on Instagram? Do you guys get value out of that? I have fun making them. And I can only hope that people listen and pay attention. I try to make them really short. Like 5, 6, 7 minutes or something at the most. You know? Just so I get everything out there. Are you just now hearing about this? Hearing about what? CC? Corvette Conversations? Where you been at, dog? Shane is like, Patrick, man, you've been under a rock. What's up with that? What is up with that, man? Get out from under that rock, big fella. Yeah. Corvette Conversations, man. It's just another free series that I wanted to do. They're a lot more structured than the live streams, I can tell you that. Because I usually have some sort of, like, here's one. I ain't going to show it to you. I ain't going to let you screenshot it. But there is one right here. And it's got like 12 points on it. And what I'll do is I'll bring that into the car, and then I'll reference that so it's more structured, and give you my commentary as I go along. So, the interesting thing is, I'll rant here for a minute into our close. If you think about the original philosophers, if you really go back to like ancient Rome, where there was no electronics and electricity and air conditioning and stuff like that, people had to go see each other in person. They had to have conversations, or they would send messengers. The rich folks would have like this really expensive sort of paper or lambskin or something, that they would send letters to the other rich people. But for the most part, you had to go out and you had to talk to people. And I think it's Stoa Pike or something like that, the painted porch, is where the original Stoics and the head of the Stoic school would go to lecture, to the students, right? And Epictetus did the same thing at his own sort of school. But the point is you had to get together, you had to have conversations, you had to have dialogue. right? Discuss ideas. And of course, they probably had arguments and fist fights and all that kind of stuff, of course. But what I'm trying to say is we don't have that anymore. Okay. Now, I really don't want to get political, but that's one thing that Charlie Kirk did. You know, went to the schools, he had his microphone, and he would hand out the microphone to other people. And he would want to have that dialogue. Now, he talks with a lot of idiots, but we really don't sit down and have important conversations anymore. Most people don't talk about money. Most people don't talk about, let's say, investments or day trading or personal development. You know, I would say outside of like the church, right? The church has like small groups and stuff like that. But, you know, let's be honest. Most of y'all don't go to church, okay? I know you. I'm just kidding. Maybe some of you do. Maybe some of you don't. But the point is, we've lost the dialogue. We've lost the ability to have these conversations. And so a lot of good information is hidden in books and live streams like this and stuff like that. And a lot of people just don't end up receiving the information. You know, people want to talk about bullshit, Kardashians, politics even. I mean, I guess politics are somewhat important, I guess. But if your whole identity is around your sexuality or your political, like the way you vote, if that's what your personality is based on, like you're shallow. You know what I mean? You're shallow. So most people want to talk about sports or celebrities or some sort of gossip and all this stuff, and it's wasteful. You sacrifice learning and having important conversations in order to have like bullshit conversations. So you end up wasting time and never learning anything solid. And that's why I wanted to start Corvette conversations. That's why I did start Corvette Conversations. Coming back to the school system, if I may, school didn't teach us really anything. We didn't have the conversations there. A lot of us probably had parents that worked a lot. So when they got home, you know, they didn't want to teach or have these conversations either. You know what I mean? And if we don't go to college and if we don't seek higher education to some extent and we never read, then we just stay ignorant our whole life. And that is what I started realizing. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. So with Corvette Conversations, I wanted to talk about topics that I feel like I missed out on. Conversations that, or topics that I know of that maybe a lot of people don't. Dow was the only one, by the way, that traded into our equities opening gap, by the way. Dow was the only one to do that. The others didn't. But yeah. Thank you, capitalist. School's a waste of time. Depends on what you do. I saw that on YM as an SMT to go lower. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. That's pretty much what it was. So, but, you know, I'm not saying that everybody's going to go out and buy a Corvette. That's not the point. But the point is milestones in life, right? Whatever it may be, should be celebrated to an extent, right? And if you are successful in whatever you're successful at, I feel like handing out that information is worth it. I used to be really bad with money. I'm a lot better with money. So I want to teach people to be better with money. I used to be not a good trader. I got better. And I want to teach people how to get better. You see what I'm saying? So I can't list all the ideas off the top of my head of what these conversations were, but I know we talked about those things. Reading books, wealth building principles, You know, stuff like that. Stuff that people don't know that they need to know. All you have to do is pay attention. That's it. Get the information. Then, the most important piece is what you do with it after that. I can tell you, hey, credit cards are stupid for the most part, okay? If you know how to use a credit card properly, then don't listen to what I'm saying. But for most people, credit cards are going to kick your ass because you're not going to pay it on time. So you're going to pay late fees. You're going to have almost a 30% interest rate. And you're going to be paying a lot of money to the banks and get nothing for it. You pay all this interest, you get nothing for it. That's stupid. That's money you could have bought challenges with. That's money you could have invested. That's money you could have bought books with. I mean, hell, spending money on a hot dog would be better than paying interest at the bank, you know, because at least you get something out of it. You know what I mean? But I could tell you over and over again, a lot of, you know, debt is stupid if you can't handle it properly. You know, get out of it, pay off the debt, overpay on your payments. Like, I would do those things if I were you. And if you don't listen to that, I mean, it's fine, but you can't be mad at anybody but yourself. I do use the first presented imbalance, and even like other concepts. It's not just limited to that. You have like a first presented mitigation and stuff like that. I didn't really look at that today though, personally. Shane, I would, if you want to get into more advanced risk management, I would say look into optimal F. But I will say optimal F can be dangerous. It can optimal F is basically a rocket ship. I mean, your account can do incredible backflips, but it can also go the other way too. But if you're looking for advanced risk management, I would go to optimal F. Got a really good credit score. So I think, I'll tell you this. I think having a good credit score is better than having a bad credit score. I think we can all agree on that. He said, is Optimal F a prop firm? Bro, go into Google. Look up Optimal F, risk management. I think it was Ralph Vince. What was I saying? This is why we shouldn't multitask. Oh, credit score. I think having a good credit score is better than having a bad credit score, because if you do run into issues and you need to take a credit card, you know, to fix your car or to do some shit for the house, or I don't know, you want to buy a car or a house and you need that credit, yeah, that's a good thing to have. I think a lot of people, though, do get sucked into what you're talking about, capitalist, where, oh, I got to take out more credit or more debt to increase my credit score, and I think that's wasteful. But again, if you don't know how to use it properly. So the guy across the lake from me, he has I think it's a Z06, black Z06. And I was talking to him, and this was like months ago. This is probably like 6 months ago. And he was like, he owns a auto repair shop, like a body shop. And the guy makes fucking bank, dude. So he was like, yeah, I looked at my credit one day and my credit went down because I had just paid off something. I don't remember what it was. He was like, so I just went and bought the Z06. And then he just overpays on it. But he's like, yeah, I have an 800 credit score and it had dropped because I paid something off. And yeah, so I just went and I wanted to get the Z06 and I got it. You know, I wouldn't do that personally. But again, he owns a body shop. He makes bank. He's allowed to do that. But for most people who don't make 10, 15, 20K a month or more, that may not be an option. So I wouldn't do that. I would avoid credit cards as much as possible. I might have one. I would say it's cool to have one as an emergency buffer, but just realize if you do use that, you're basically paying double. Because if you can't pay it off quickly, you're going to pay interest. And if you use $1,000 or $2,000 and you pay it off over a year, you're going to end up paying like twice as much. I would have emergency cash instead, or some shit like a Robinhood account or some sort of trading account that you could withdraw from if you need to as an emergency fund. I would try to avoid that. There are more, Shane, there's more free books on YouTube and the internet than we'll ever be able to read. Which is great, but not every book is worth reading either, or listening to. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. We have... Bro, what type of price action is this? What is that? What is this? Open, high, low, and then close. So the open, the high, and the close were all the same. What type of shit? And then the open and the low is the same on this one. That's... It looks bullish still, but it's just like weird shit like that. It's weird. It is weird, chat. It is weird. But anyway, that's what I'm gonna leave you guys with. So the let's do this. I'll give you the exact price levels and then we'll hop off of here. 25,045 and a quarter is the equal highs for NQ. 25,110.5 is our equities open, I believe. Yep, right up there. 110 and a half. So if you want to put an alert there, that's cool. If you want to put an alert there, that's cool. But that's it. So y'all be on the lookout later today or maybe tomorrow for the next episode of Corvette Conversations. And yeah, that's it. So y'all be good, be blessed. Have a good weekend. Hope you guys learned something today or this week. Hopefully you guys read, really study, engage with the material. Highlight, underline, star, engage with the material. Okay? I'll see you guys on Monday the 10th.